Hi everyone. Um, if you haven't already guessed, I am very excited to say that we have a new Taylor Swift album, the Tortured Poets Department. And I don't know if you can tell, but I literally just got this in the mail. I haven't even opened it up yet to look at it. But I figured I would do that on the video. And since this just came out, I'm recording this the Saturday after it came out, so it's literally been less than 48 hours since it's come out. And I have thoughts and feelings and a lot to talk about today. I guess first we can open it up. So I got the very first edition of it. As soon as she announced it and as soon as she made it to where we could pre-save it, I saved it. So I got the one with the manuscript as the bonus track, which, to be fair, I think that one's the best bonus track, but we'll get into that later. Oh my gosh, wow. There's an introductory poem. We'll see if I can read it because it's kind of hard to read it. I'm just not used to reading cursive. The Tortured Poets Department. Oh my god, it has an actual, it's fucking booklet. Look at this. It's a freaking, okay, that's just one page. She made it into a whole ass booklet. And almost each song has its own page. What? Oh my gosh. It's a whole freaking booklet. I can't get over this. It's a whole damn booklet. And then the bonus track that I got was the manuscript. Wow. And then this is a summary poem. There was a lot to read. I'm not gonna read all of this on the video because that would take too long. But I just can't believe there's a whole ass booklet in here. Now let's see what these look like. It says Cleo. It says Ghost White Cleo, I think. It might not be Cleo. It might just be Ghost White. And yeah, it's just Ghost White. Wow, so pretty. I will say this is the first vinyl that I have that's actually white. I do have a Cleo vinyl, but you know, Cleo's not white. I have a list of things to talk about. I've listened to this album 2 times through now. I listened to it first as just like a preliminary, what is this about? And then the second time I like really listened to it and like really paid attention to if I like the song, paid attention to the lyrics of each song. And then I have this Excel sheet on my computer where I have like all the albums ranked and each song ranked out of 10. We're not going to get into that today because today is just about the Tortured Poets Department. So let's first talk about the time period, which all of you know what time period we're in right now. It is April 2024. She announced this album at the Grammys in February, and she flashed us a 2 when she announced it, which that 2 does come in handy. And I fucking knew it from the start. Well, not from the start, but I knew it. Anyway, she flashed us a 2 as the Tortured Poets Department out April 19th. Now, a lot of things came out about the album that weren't true, because a lot of it said that it would be another synth pop album like 1989. which it didn't turn out to be at all. It has notes of 1989 synth in it, but if you really look at the album, I and a lot of other people I've seen talk about it would say it's like she took Midnight's, put a layer of folk over all of it, and then she sprinkled in 1989 synth. So it's a really interesting album because it mixes the Midnight's feel and the it mixes the Midnight's and the folklore feel, which are two very different feels. But I will say, the very first time that I listened to it, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this album. It feels very slow, and I felt the same way I felt when I first listened to Folklore and Evermore. When I first listened to Folklore and Evermore, I was like, this is new. I don't think I like it. But I ended up liking those. That being said, I don't think I will end up liking this album. But when I say I don't like the album, it's not that I don't like it. It's that it's not the same for me as all the albums that came before it. So one of the things with this album is I think that with all the other albums, I can listen to them from start to finish. Boom, I can do it. With this album, I forced myself to the first and the second time to listen to them all the way through. Well, I didn't force myself the first time, but I forced myself to listen to all of the songs the second time. But I feel like this is not the type of album where I would be able to listen to it from start to finish. It's kind of more of an album where it's like, if I want to hear this song, or if this album comes on when I'm listening to my Apple Music, then I'll listen to it. But it's not where I can listen to Fortnite and go all the way down to the manuscript. Especially because it's 31 songs, which the twos were for 2 a.m., 2 albums, a double album. And I didn't know that from the start, and everyone seemed to be thinking that the 2 meant that we would get Reputation as well. I knew that wasn't going to happen, but I will say, like, I didn't know that we were getting a complete double album, but I knew pretty early on that it would be something like the Midnight's 3 a.m. tracks. We got 2 a.m. tracks now, which makes me think that there might be a pattern, because Midnight's 3 a.m. tracks, Torture Poets Department 2 a.m. tracks. What if for TS12 we get 1 a.m. tracks, and then it leads up to TS13 being something. I don't know what it would be, but anyway, so those are pretty much my overall feelings about this album. This album is kind of like a diary from when she broke up with Joe, going to Maddie Haley, and then fans getting so angry at her about dating Maddie Haley, which I understand, but at the same time, that's a controversial topic, to her ending that relationship and meeting Travis. This album is a insight into her feelings and her thoughts and her stream of consciousness in that time period. And I think that's the reason that a lot of people don't like the album, but the album in itself lyrically is a masterpiece. There was one TikToker that I saw who said it as this album was made more for her than it was for her fans. This album was a great way for her to just get out all of her thoughts and feelings, and also push back on the fans a little bit, as she should. But this was just a good way for her to just get it all out, get it all done with, and basically end an era and start anew. This album basically said to me, hey, I'm officially ending it with Joe. I went to Maddie as my rebound, and I made a mistake, but then I found Travis, and now I'm here. So This is a good like representation of like the end of a 7-year long era, having a little midlife crisis, and then finding love again. Now let's talk about Maddie Haley for a second. I do agree that she shouldn't have dated Maddie Haley. I do agree that he is a racist, and I don't stand for racists. But the way that the fans reacted to her dating Maddie Haley and the way that they got on her about it was not okay. Because she is a 34-year-old woman, and she can make her own decisions. Do we always make the right decision in life? No, we don't. And you can clearly see that Taylor Swift dating Maddie Haley was probably just a mistake. And as she's explained too, it was a rebound. Like, she was with Joe Alwyn for 7 years, and that relationship ended. And even if they ended it on good terms, whether you end a 7-year relationship on good terms or bad terms, it still hurts. And we can especially see that with Midnights and the song You're Losing Me. It still hurts. Just because you've been with that person for so long, even if it's mutual and you're like, okay, we need to go separate ways, it's going to hurt. So in a moment of vulnerability and grief, she took a rebound, and she rebounded to Maddie Haley. It was the wrong choice. But guess what? People make wrong decisions all the time. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. But the way that the fans reacted about it was not okay. And I might bring up some controversy with this, but I want to say, and I don't care what people think about it, I do not stand with the Taylor Swift fans who want to push themselves into her life. Because guess what? It's her life. And she only lets us see whatever part of her life that she wants us to see. And she told us. She never told us when she was dating Maddie Haley or when she broke up with Maddie Haley that it was a midlife crisis type moment. Because guess what? She tells us all about that in this. She tells us all about how her Maddie Haley affair was... I say a fail. I don't know why I said that, but her dating Maddie Haley was a rebound, and it wasn't necessarily the right choice. She even wrote a song that basically tells all of those types of Swifties to back off, as she should, because she is her own person, and people make mistakes, even in their 30s. Even in their 70s, people make mistakes. So people make mistakes all the time. It's done. She's not dating Maddie Haley anymore. Relax. There's another thing I want to talk about that kind of pertains to that too, but we'll get into that when we get into that. But Maddie Haley aside, this album is a geniusly masterful piece of art. It's just not necessarily written for the fans. It's written more for... She may have written it with... She definitely wrote it for intentions with the fans, but she also wrote it as kind of a... since singing and songwriting is what she does, she wrote it as a lifeline of kind of just getting all these emotions out. Getting them out and getting them out into the world. Letting go of all of it. Now she's ready to start anew. This album is probably gonna be my, not yours, my least favorite album. Even under debut. Especially when Debut TV comes out, it'll probably be my least favorite album. And I hate to say that. I hate to say that, especially about brand new music from Taylor Swift, but it's probably just gonna walk out that way, y'all. The album is just so, like, lineal, which, as I keep saying that it's lineal, it's not lineal. There's a lot of different emotions to it, but just the overall feel of it, it kind of has the same feel all throughout it. And a lot of people are saying that Hall and Jack Antonoff need to stop making music together. And I don't know why, because Jack Antonoff is a great producer and musician. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but Jack Antonoff helped with 1989. If I'm correct, please correct me if I'm wrong. But he helped with 1989 and Level. They're great albums. He was also helped with Folklore and Evermore. And yes, I know that a lot of Folklore and Evermore was also Aaron Dessner, but Jack Antonoff and Aaron Dessner are great. They are great producers and great people and have such great talent. So I'm also not on that whole train of she needs to stop producing with Jack Antonoff, because Jack Antonoff is just this one monotone person. Like, he's not, but okay. That being said, this album is kind of just gonna, I feel like this album is more of a respite. And I say I'm using respite, but that's not the right word. As someone said on one of their TikToks, this is a respite from like whole radio and commercial successes. This album is more for her and getting out those feelings and emotions. So the next TS12 very likely is going to go back to, good vibes. And even if not, well, even Reputation has good vibes. So, but yeah, TS12 will probably go back to good vibes and what everyone expects from the music industry at this point, and what everyone expects from Taylor Swift. But that being said, let's get into the actual music. Like I said, it gives a Midnights and Folklore vibes with 1989 synth sprinkled into it. I thought for a minute that the Fortnite AI was going to be like it, but that's also because I had the expectation that the album was going to be more of the fun pop than it was the mellow pop, if you can even call it pop. I don't know if I would. That being said, I still love Fortnite. Fortnite is in my top 5, 100%. There were quite a few songs that I didn't like Down Bad, So Long London, I Can Fix It, No Really I Can't Do It With a Broken Heart, Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, Clara Bow, Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus, I Look Through People's Windows, and Cassandra, all my skips for the album. So not a whole lot of skips. 9 out of 31 skips is not terrible. But also, not everyone likes everything she produces. Another thing that really shocked me was Florida. I did not expect Florida to be in my top 5. But Florida is in my top 5, and it's crazy. I didn't know what Florida was going to be about, but it's in my top 5 apparently. I want to also talk about LOML, how we all thought it was going to be Love of My Life. My jaw dropped when, for the whole song, she was singing Love of Your Life, and then at the very end, she sings Loss of My Life. My jaw hit the floor. I was not expecting that, and that made me so sad. I didn't know what to think about that. I was like, oh my gosh. And I think But Daddy I Love Him is about Joe, not Maddie Haley. Some people think it is about Maddie Haley. It might be about Maddie Haley, but I'm not sure. I don't pick up on cues that much for that kind of stuff. It's more of I watch TikToks of people who really super analyze lyrics, because I only analyze lyrics so. But there's so many people out there that really analyze the lyrics. So I pick up on things from like watching videos about people talking about it. But I don't analyze, I don't have that kind of patience, I guess. And I don't want to most of the time. But that being said, I find it hilarious that she kind of broke the fourth wall on, But Daddy I Love Him, when she said, I'm having his baby. Just kidding. I'm having his baby. No, I'm not, but you should see all your faces. That absolutely got me cackling. That was so funny to me. And it's just great. And then another song I really want to talk about is How Did It End? So when I first listened to How Did It End, I didn't think much of it. But I was also half asleep, because I literally had just woken up when I had started listening to the album. So for the first listen through, I was half asleep. So I didn't pick up on everything. But when I listened to How Did It End the second time, I absolutely felt it. It is such a powerful song, and it's so emotion invoking. It's basically Taylor being like 7 years together. How does this end? How did it happen? My top five would have to be Florida, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, I'ma Get You Back, So High School, and Fortnite. Not in that order. If I had to order them, I would probably say, ordering them, my top five in order would probably be, it'd probably be Fortnite, Florida, So High School, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, and I'm Gonna Get You Back. This album is insane. I just want to make a note as well that this album is 2 years in the making. So she wrote at least 31 songs. She probably wrote more, but she wrote at least 31 songs while going through a breakup and while going on tour, where she's performing 2 to 3 to 4 nights in a row for 3 hours straight. This woman is unstoppable. I cannot believe she can do that. Her life is so, like, to me that just sounds like she doesn't have any downtime. And I know she does, but that just sounds like such a busy life that I would not want to do that. Like, I mean, she's said before in documentaries that her life is pretty much planned out 2 years in advance. As she's coming out with a new album, she's already working on the next album. Like right now, I wouldn't be surprised if she already has Reputation TV recorded and done. I wouldn't be surprised if she's either done or still working on Debut TV. And she's most definitely working on TS12 right now. 100%. Especially right now with the hiatus from the Eras Tour, which comes back next month. Which we all know that there's going to be, the surprise songs are going to be littered with Tortured Poets Department songs now. Which, that'll be interesting. That would be really cool if she had Post Malone come and they sang Fortnite Full Surprise song for one of the nights. That would be so cool. But yes, this whole album, both of them technically, is very thought-provoking and very poetic. It is not what I expected, but it's a good album, and I know I keep saying it, but it's so true, and it makes me appreciate the album so much more. This album is for Hull. It's not for the fans, it's not for Joe, it's not for Maddie, it's not for Travis. It is for Hull. This album is Hull's way of getting rid of this chapter of her life and moving on. I can't stress it enough that this album is about Hull moving on. This album is not about reflecting on what has happened the past 2 years. This album is about moving on from what happened these past 2 years. And now that she's in a loving relationship, which Republicans and Fox News will say this is a PR relationship, whatever. Anyway, this is an album about moving on and letting go, and that is beautiful to me. It makes it so much better. This is definitely a momentous occasion for Taylor Swift, because this is the first, I would say that this really is the first album that we've gotten from her where it's truly a, hey, this is what happened, let's forget about it and let's move on. And that, I know I keep saying let's forget about it, but you know, if you listen to this, you'll keep remembering what happened. But this is truly her way. This is the best way for her to be like, you know what? This happened. I stumbled a little bit. But you know what? We got back up on our feet and we moved on. And now that it's literally all out on the table for everyone to witness and everyone to listen and everyone to draw their own opinions about it, she can move on with her life. She can go back to having fun. I mean, not saying that she never had fun on the Eras Tour. She has fun on the Eras Tour. But she can go back to having fun with the fans on the Eras Tour. She can go back to having fun with Travis. She can go back to recording songs for Reputation and Debut TV. She can go back to the drawing board for TS12, or if she already has the drawing board marked up, she can go back to finally start working on it or continue working on it. Which I will say, I feel like TS12 is going to be a 180 from this. It's going to be so different from this that our minds are going to be freaking blown. But we are in the Tortured Poets Department era, and who's to say how long it'll last? I know that in the past she has, when she's released a new album while in the middle of re-records, she gave that whole year to the new album, and then the next year was the re-records. But there are pretty strong theories that she will be out with both of the re-records before the tour ends. Now, with this coming out in April and the tour ending in November of this year, I think. I don't think we're going to get both re-records. If we do get a re-record, it's only going to be one, which is most likely Reputation TV. This has been my genuine review of the Tortured Poets Department. Literally my first time We haven't been sitting on this. I just got this today. Many people are probably just getting it today. I opened it for you on video. I've listened to the track list only twice. I'm sure many other people have listened to it multiple times. And the era hasn't really fully set in yet. But thank you all for watching. Give it a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want more like this. I have my Lead and Fearless video coming up. I have my Speak Now video coming up, and then once Reputation and Debut TV come out, I will view them as well, and then obviously I will view TS12 whenever that comes out, and so on and so forth. But thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one.